What's happening, Wisdom Warriors of Light? Back at it for another video. How y'all doing, man? How's everything? Happy Saturday. I'm just doing another car video out here in nature. Just reflecting, doing a little bit of reflection, a little going inward, being with myself. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like today feels like that type of day. I didn't really feel like just going around and doing this and doing that. It just really felt like just being, man. I did my spiritual practices in the morning. I got back to doing some yoga, and of course, I did breath work. I found myself struggling a little bit with breath work only because when I was laying flat on the floor, my back was really, I used the word on fire. It was just, I don't know, it was really uncomfortable, and I guess the word is painful. So I kind of cut it short a few minutes, not much, but maybe like 5 minutes short. But I did meditate, and I did do everything I wanted to do. And so now, here we are. And I wanted to speak a little bit about surrendered action and how um, it's interesting because in the spiritual community, people talk about, taking action, then they talk about surrendered action, and then they talk about, then you hear people talk about, which I know is just in the matrix realm, like the 3D matrix of like, you can't just sit on the couch and expect that someone's going to come knocking at your door, and saying, hey, I want you to come work at this job, or come knock at your door, hey, I want to date you, and interestingly enough, I understand it on a much deeper level, and a lot of people say I'm waiting for the feeling, I'm waiting to feel that shift into that action, and I want to speak about this, and I think I'm going to do a couple videos on this because it's very, very vital and important, as we go forward. And I do feel like a lot of people have a confusion about it or a misconception about it, like, oh, you can't just sit around waiting. And no one ever said to sit around waiting. And it's like, it's kind of like when you're in that frequency and you're in alignment with the highest version of yourself, your higher self, which is you, is guiding you in the movement, I'm trying to come up with the word, like I was going to say surrendered action, but when you take that surrendered action, right, and you kind of like go with what feels good, or you move in a way that, like, oh, well, like, you don't resist the different things that you're being guided to do, and that there's a higher purpose or a higher reason, or like the highest version of yourself is guiding you in these movements. you know um I use a really good example of when this whole podcast came about, which again I've uh hashtagged it in every description, and I've put it in the descriptions of all the videos, that there is another YouTube channel, which is Spiritual Boot Camp Just Breathe, and there's a website, which you can check out. Currently, there's about I think eight podcasts up on there, with me and Jeremiah, and there's a lot more that we've recorded. We took a lot of them down because we're going to be putting them behind a member area, only because I feel like the content is really truly meant for people that pay for it. I feel like the content is that if people want it, they're going to pay for it. And so, we're gonna still put a lot of free content outside of the membership area, and then if you want to go deeper and hear deeper conversations about certain things and topics and all different kinds of things, we're going to have it behind a membership area. And I feel like it's going to be, we did post a lot of them. We had over 20 on the free thing. We were just putting them up there, but we really thought about it. And if you really are resonating with the content when you listen to these episodes we have on the free, just on the website itself, and you want to go deeper and deep dive this stuff, then with us and go on this journey with us, then you're going to be okay to pay for it, and so if it doesn't work out, the membership area, like we're right now currently building it out, then we'll just take it on Patreon, which we already have created. We just haven't put anything up yet on there. But anyways, I'm kind of digressing into what I actually was wanting to talk about. And so with that whole thing that happened, I was taking surrendered action. Like I've told this story on the podcast before, and I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but I'm going to briefly mention it. And what basically happened was the name came about. Me and him discussed the name. I then had this action where I didn't resist it, but I was called to, or I felt it, to go buy the domain name and then start building the website and purchasing a theme and, starting to build it out. And, and it all happened so fast. Like, it didn't even feel like, it felt like something else was in the driver's seat, but that was me, my higher self, in the driver's seat. But I wasn't resisting it. I was in surrendered action. I was taking surrendered action. So I was going with it. I was in alignment with my higher self, moving in that direction to these different things that led this whole entire website to be built. And then to find out we had over 20 something. I mean, we have way more than 20 episodes recorded. A lot of them kind of are in archives, and we haven't really, at the time when we were recording them, we were just recording them. We didn't have a website. We didn't have anything. We were just laying tracks. And we were going with the flow. We were doing surrendered action, and we were just doing it. And there was a reason that it was being done. There was a reason that we were, a lot of times we don't know what's happening and why we're doing the things we're doing. Just like in dating, in the dating world, and you keep finding yourself coming across people that are scamming you, or, they ghost you, or they disappear, or whatever the case may be, or maybe you went on a bunch of dates and they didn't work out. There's a reason for it. It's preparing you for that relationship that you've been so longing for your entire life. It's getting you ready. It's getting you prepared for that. And so everything that we are doing, our higher selves, essentially the highest version of ourselves, are guiding us in these surrendered states. But a lot of times we resist it, we fight it, we don't follow it, we go in a different direction. Not to say that it's not going to take you where you still we're supposed to go, but a lot of times it may be a harder path. It may take longer, versus, following that feeling and going with it. Like, for example, I'm taking this class that starts on September 9th, which I spoke to you guys about. I briefly mentioned it, which is light language. And, I've been very much so guided to this, and I did not resist it whatsoever. A lot, my older version of myself would have, because of the cost. And I would have been like, oh, that's too expensive. Like, they shouldn't be charging that much. Like, I've heard people say that in comments on YouTube about other individuals that are putting themselves out there and charging a fee for what they're doing or what they're teaching. And then people like, what about the people that don't have the money? What about this? What about that? It's like if you follow the guidance that you're getting, no matter what situation you're in financially, you will be taken care of. Somehow, some way, that money will come about. And it always does, and it always will work out. But a lot of times the ego steps in, and we question, and we doubt, and we fight. Like, no, I can't do that. How am I going to pay for that? I can't even pay for the food on my table. Like, how am I going to do that? You know what I mean? Like, and you start going into these fear-based states, which then it doesn't end up happening because you're in those fear-based states, which when you're in those fear-based states and you're not stepping out and trusting and having faith that it will work out, and so deeply that it will work out because your higher self is always doing the best thing for you, even though you may not believe that, even though you may have had the hardest life and the hardest times in your life, your higher self is always guiding you, whatever the situations may be, for the best outcome for you. Again, you may not believe that as to what you've been through, but I promise you, I've been through a lot myself, a lot. And I've coined the term, I've gone through hell. And, I'm sure a lot of you watching this have also. And I'm not negating that, okay? But, and I'm not saying like, oh, well, you went through this abuse, for your highest version of yourself. Some things I can't really explain, and we're not going to be able to. At least maybe not right now, or it will be given to us at some certain time. We'll get the downloads and maybe understand it, later on. Usually kind of that's what happens, when you move past it down the road, years later, you look back and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand why I went through that. A lot of times those situations like abuse and things like that, your higher self and your soul knew, and I'm getting the downloads right now, your higher self knew that you could get through it, that you would get through it, and then you were meant to teach others or help others that are going through the same thing you went through, like abuse. And then you find people stepping into these positions and jobs that maybe are like those trying to think of the word, like therapist positions, or role model positions where they're helping kids that have been abused or passed around in like orphanages, whatever the case may be, or sexual abuse, whatever, physical abuse. Now you made it through it, and your higher self knew that you would make it through it. Okay? And now you are meant to get onto the other side so you can now teach and help others through, or maybe write a book, or maybe be a role model on YouTube, a teacher on YouTube, teaching others what you did and how you did it. See, and that is why a lot of times we go through these difficult trials and tribulations, because without going through those things, how could you teach somebody else? How could you help somebody else if you didn't experience it yourself? Okay? So that's essentially what I was being guided to say, because that's why these situations have happened to a lot of us, because the ones that it happened to are the ones that are going to be able to make it on the other side. Like my dad having gotten 4th stage Hodgkin's lymphoma in 97, okay, and them telling him he had a week to live. Not many would have done that. Not many would have made it. Most people probably would have passed away, and he made it through. He was like skin and bones laying on the couch, and they had to peel him off the couch and tell him, get in there and exercise, get on that treadmill, because he was healing at a facility in South Florida, a holistic center that deals with people with a lot of major diseases and ailments, and He picked himself up and he healed himself in 6 weeks. And I haven't fully talked about that story on this channel, which I will. But his higher self knew that he could do it, and he can get to the other side to help so many other people. And that's exactly what he did. He was volunteering at that facility for over 5 years, serving and helping. And even when he left that facility from volunteering, we would go out and we'd sell something on Craigslist, and he would be somehow, some way, someone would be brought into his existence that needed help. And he was guiding them and helping them when we met them to sell them something that we were selling on Craigslist. So this is how things work out. And you may be in the situation you're in right now, whether it be financially, whether it be health, whether it be a relationship problem, whether it be Lord knows what, physical pain, physical ailments. And not everybody makes it though, okay? But a lot of people get maybe 50, 70, 90% of the way, and then they're serving and helping others until they pass. We don't know fully everybody's choice and when they're ready to transition or whatnot, but for the most part, you can't help others unless you experienced whatever you're helping others with yourself. And that's a lot of times why our higher self puts us through these situations like I went through with mold and Lyme and all these different things, and just a lot of health challenges and a lot of other things, bullying and all kinds of things. And I'm here on the other side. And so, just remember that, whatever you're going through it for a reason to turn around but not everybody does that either. There's people that make it on the other side and then they still don't serve what they came here to do, and that's okay. That's their choice. We have free will. So, just remember that, whatever you're going through is strengthening you, is making you stronger, is giving you more courage. And there's a bigger purpose at play. It could also be like I brought up about the dating, you could be going through all that to strengthen you, to build your confidence, to prepare you for that partner that you're drawing in, that you're magnetizing towards you, that you're manifesting into your life. So there's always a reason, and you have to trust in divine guidance, because the divine is always guiding us. Not only the divine, but our angels, our guides, and our higher self, and the highest version of ourself is trying to get us to that higher version of ourself, to step into it. So, I hope that you understand what I'm saying here, and if you're listening to it this far through, then you probably do understand what I'm saying. Just remember that, there's a bigger plan at play. Essentially your higher self is trying to get you to the highest version of yourself. And with doing that, you have to sometimes go through these difficult situations because you're meant to do bigger things. You're a starseed, man. You're a light worker. You came here to serve. You volunteered here to serve, to help others. And if you went through hell, you went through hell for a reason, because you're meant to turn it around and help others through what you went through. Or maybe in a different way. Maybe you're learning all kinds of different things like me that I already know, but I'm relearning them so that I can take all these modalities and help multiple different people, because I'm meant to help people on a global scale. Not just a one-on-one basis. I'm meant to serve humanity on a global scale. And I know that, and I knew that when I was a young kid. And so, nothing is an accident. Just stay strong. Know that you are being guided by your higher self, your highest version of yourself. And just have faith, man. Just trust. Trust that partner is coming in. Trust that all these relationships that you've been in that have failed for a reason, because you're getting yourself prepared for that connection, that you guys are going to be this team that is going to be unstoppable and is going to help humanity shift in this evolutionary shift in consciousness, this great awakening that we're all going through. This is such a beautiful time to be alive, man. Just remember that. So with that being said, man, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to all the new subscribers, to the ones that have been here from the beginning. I am truly grateful for each and every one of you, man. And, we're growing this channel to big, big heights. We're going to reach the entire world one day. And it's happening. And it will happen. And so we're creating this safe space where we can all share and just, help one another, because we're all going through the same thing, essentially, just in different ways, or perceiving it in different ways. So just remember, man, stay strong, and just know that you are a beautiful warrior of light. And you're amazing, man. You're amazing. And you're amazing for even being here. You're amazing for volunteering to come here. You're amazing for being so strong to do the things you're doing that most people would just fold up and throw in the towel immediately. They wouldn't walk the path that we've walked. They would have just thrown in the towel. So just remember that you were chosen for a reason, because your higher self and God knew that you could do it. So just remember that when you have these hard times and you're struggling, that you were chosen, man, for a reason. And your higher self is not going to lead you in a bad way, in a bad direction. It may seem like that, depending on the situations you're going through. But remember, you're going through those for a reason, because you're going to help so many others, man. And I just want you to know that you are amazing. And that's all I got for today. Hope you enjoy your Saturday. Hope you get something out of this video. I love you all, man. I'm seeing a yellow and black butterfly fly right past me as I'm recording this video, and it's 222 on the 2222 on the clock on this camera as I'm ending this recording. I love you all, man. Take care of yourselves and each other. From my heart to yours, I will see you in the next one. Get prepared for the Sunday sermon. It's going to be a beautiful message for us all. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Take care, and let's go, Wisdom Warriors of Light. We got this.